Welcome students to this GCSE Geography lesson from the coast topic. This lesson, number 5 in the topic, is all about landforms along the coast shaped by erosion. Please write the date, title, learning objective. Let's go. Answer these questions in your books on paper and then self-mark. Here are the answers. Give yourselves a score out of 10. Okay, here we go. This here, what you see, is part of a headland. A headland is a part of the coast that protrudes, sticks out from the coastline. See if you can answer the two questions about it already. Maybe say your answers out loud or jot down some points. So this, what you see in this photo, is an example of a set of landforms created by the processes of erosion. It's one of several that I'm going to show you today. Let's go. Key question. First landform. Along the south coast of the UK, part of it is called the Jurassic Coast. It's more than 300 million years old. It's made of carboniferous rocks such as limestone and chalk. And one of the features of the Jurassic Coast is that it looks like this. Many thousands of years ago, it would have been straighter and further extended out to sea. However, because of erosion, this undulating pattern can be seen where it goes inwards and outwards and inwards and outwards. This is a coastline of headlands that stick out or protrude, P-R-O-T-R-U-D-E, and bays that curve inwards. So how did they form? Well, headlands and bays form along discordant coastlines. Discordant means when you have alternating bands of hard and soft rock that are perpendicular to the sea, as can be seen here. Harder, more resistant rock erodes more slowly. Examples are granite and chalk and limestone. Softer rock, such as clay or mudstone, are less resistant to erosion and thus erode more quickly. When you have a coastline in which different parts of the coast erode at different rates, this is called differential erosion. Differential erosion means erosion that happens on a coastline at different rates due to the geology, rock type of the coast. So this situation here, you have waves, destructive waves generally, eroding the rock on the coastline. After thousands of years, the soft rock recedes because of the rapid erosion, whereas the hard rock remains because it erodes more slowly. Hydraulic action and abrasion are the main forces at work here. Thus, you end up with a picture like this. Bays curving inwards and headlands protruding outwards. The bays have beaches in them because wave refraction as the waves enter the bay causes the waves to slow down, the velocity to decrease, and deposition to happen. So sediment builds up as beaches within the bays. The headlands protruding are now exposed to more erosion. Thus, headlands and bays form in this way over thousands of years. But these headlands and bays that are created along these discordant coastlines are only the start of a journey to the formation of other erosional landforms, one of which being wave-cut platforms. Here is a headland. As you can see, part of the cliff has been sheared away by the waves, and the headland has retreated inland, leaving this flat, rocky platform called a wave-cut platform. So how has this happened? Well, the side of the headland, shown here, is eroded at its base by the waves through hydraulic action and abrasion. This creates, over time, an indentation in the cliff called the wave-cut notch, and that extends across the cliff. Over time, the wave-cut notch deepens and the cliff above it becomes unsupported and so collapses. The waves eventually remove the deposited sediment and the process repeats. New wave-cut notch, new cliff collapse, and over time the cliff retreats backwards, but the base of the cliff remains, and so you end up with this. A wave-cut platform, almost flat surface, and a cliff that has retreated. Final landform. Coastal stacks such as the famous Old Harry near Swanage form from headlands as well. Here is Old Harry, and Old Harry's wife sitting behind here collapsed into the sea about 150 years ago. This used to be part of a single continuous headland, but it's been broken up into separate pieces and Old Harry sticks out at the end. So how did this happen? Well, it starts like this. The headland, once it protrudes out to sea, is now exposed to erosion from waves from all sides, and here's why. When waves approach the headland straight on, the part of the wave that goes past the rock slows down due to friction, and thus the wave starts to curve inwards, as shown here, towards the sides of the headland, and so you get erosion not only at the front of the headland but also at the sides. Thus the headland is eroding faster than it would have been had the coastline been flat, and that sets up the next step. All coastlines and rock have weaknesses. In chalk and limestone headlands you have joints because they're sedimentary. These joints are attacked by hydraulic action and abrasion, and they are opened up to form cracks in the headland. These cracks widen and deepen over time to form caves. Eventually, if the cave forms on the side of a headland, it may go all the way through to the other side, forming an arch. Now, the arch widens over time due to continued erosion, and weathering, biological, chemical, mechanical, occur along the roof of the arch, and consequently, eventually, the roof of the arch collapses. When this happens, an isolated stack remains, cut off from the headland. However, the process doesn't end here, and the erosion continues, and the stack itself narrows and narrows and becomes unstable, and eventually it collapses too, to leave a stump. And finally, the erosional processes continue, and the stump sinks beneath the waves. These are our erosional landforms. And they're all related to discordant coastlines and headlands and bays. Well, let's practice to make sure you've understood this. Here are 2 questions. Please answer the questions in full detail using all the keywords we've discussed, and then self-mark your answers. Pause the video while you do so. Okay, here are the answers. Mark your answers now, please. Thank you so much for joining me. Well done.